Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sonic Love. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out this budget handheld from our good friends from China, Anbernic, with the RG35XX. It's been a while. I ordered this about a month ago, but it took so long to get to me. So I think people were doing this about 3 weeks ago, but I'm glad I got it. I'm a massive fan of smaller handhelds. Now, I do believe that this is not as small as what people were thinking it was going to be. People were thinking it was going to be a successor to the Miyoo Mini, and it was designed to be in competition with that. But I do believe it is a little bit bigger, and it's still a great handheld. So without further ado, let's do an unboxing and first impressions of the RG35XX. So I really like the packaging style and choice that Anbernic have gone for this time. It's pretty simple, basic, not much on it whatsoever. So I kind of like that. I like the basic look to it. I went with the transparent white. You can get transparent purple and also a grey Game Boy Color version with the red buttons, which looks quite nice. But I went with the transparent white. So on opening the box, we get a little tray with the handheld in itself. Comes in with a nice little package, styrofoam to protect it, of course. Okay, so I went with the transparent white, and you can see the PCB board inside, which is quite nice. It's very transparent. We'll have to see what it's like with a little bit of light bleed on the top, maybe, if there's any LED lights. Kind of like it. It's got a nice textured feel on there. It's quite nice. Got a shoulder buttons. It does look like you have to open it to get to the battery, but hopefully it might be able to replace it if you can. 2 SD card slots. We have a reset button, power button, ABXY. I don't know if you can see, but they seem to be very shiny, but still feel very nice to press. One thing about Anbernic is they do quality products. Even though this is a budget handheld, coming in at £55, which is the equivalent of about $60. Still isn't bad. Start select feel quite nice and responsive. Menu button. D-pad, as always, is unique and special from Anbernic. It feels nice. It comes with a solo speaker, so hopefully the speaker will be good, even though it is a solo speaker. But remember, guys, this is a budget handheld, so it has the volume on there. It has HDMI out, so I will test that, guys, for you. Looks like we have some LED light indicators for battery life, probably. Screen is really flush and very minimum bezels, which is always nice, making the screen look a lot bigger than what it actually is. Yeah, so far it's quite nice. Size wise, I wouldn't say it's too small, but I wouldn't say it's too big. I think it's maybe a little bit smaller than the RG35. I'd say it's a bit smaller than the RG353V, but not by much. So let's just do some comparison sizes. So here we have the RG353V, which is a fantastic handheld. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check out my unboxing and first impressions of that. And I'll also leave the Miyoo Mini for the unboxing and first impressions for the Miyoo Mini. So if you put them side by side, we don't really have much difference in size. Maybe a centimeter, maybe, difference. Thickness, yeah, it's definitely thinner. As you can see, the RG353V is considerably chunkier. But there's about a centimeter difference in height. So feeling the actual handheld, it feels really nice, feels nice and balanced. Buttons feel really nice. The screen actually looks bigger on the 35XX, but I think that's just because the bezels are black, but it does look to be a very nice screen. I will leave some stats in the corner here, just so you can check out what is inside. It's very basic. It is the cheap of the cheap, but for a budget handheld, let's see if the performance is good enough to rival or match the Miyoo Mini. Now, as you can see, there is a considerable difference between the size of the Miyoo Mini and also the RG35XX, but I wouldn't say by too much. So if we put it into the center, you're talking 1/2 centimeter either way. So really it's not that much difference, and pocketability wise, I wouldn't say there's that much difference either, really. But hey ho, if you loved the Miyoo Mini but you wish to have a bigger screen, then this may be a option for you. If you're just getting into handhelds, I know they're very scarce at the moment, the Miyoo Mini. This may be an option for you to go for if you want to get into the retro handheld scene. So as you can see, we have a bottom right curved on one side, reminiscent of a Game Boy. And also they've gone with the same style on the RG35X as well. But yeah, so far, first impressions, I kind of like it. I do like the transparency of it. It does feel really comfortable. Buttons rattle, but hey ho, they don't rattle as much on here. All handhelds rattle. I don't think that matters really. When do you want to rattle a handheld when you're playing it anyway? I don't think you do. So yeah, it's really nice. I think the texture on here is really nice as well. Buttons feel nice and clicky. For a budget device of £50, it's really nice. I'm not too sure if there's a rumble feature. I don't think there is, but it has a 3.5 headphone jack and also a charging port at the bottom there, USB Type-C. But yeah, it looks really nice. It's really sturdy. Pressing on the screen is solid. It does seem to be quite firm, which I like. It's one thing I didn't like using over time is this feels quite flimsy when you press it, but this one doesn't. This one feels actually solid, which is pretty good. I will be testing out the stock firmware. I do believe that it is a closed source, but Black Serif has done a Garlic OS for it, but it's also limited in some features as well, like arcade and also PlayStation, just because there is hidden blocks that he cannot actually get the best performance out of it. But I do believe that you have plenty more options, and it also running RetroArch, so you'll be able to change out like displays and resolutions and so forth on it, which will come in handy. But the stock firmware doesn't have that, I believe. So let's turn it on. So I have gone ahead previously and messed around with it. I also used a second SD card, which I added my own stuff. It did come preloaded, but I took the SD card out and put my own games on there as well. You can have a very, very simple theme set on there. This is the one that I've chosen. But if you go into settings, you'll see a list. You have battery, shutdown. This is where you have to shut down the unit. Time and date, IO test. So if you go there, you can test all the inputs, which is quite nice. We have buttons with sound. I've turned the sound off. So themes, we have different style themes for the options. There is some nice ones. And we have background settings, which you can change out and swap over. I went with the Game Boy style. So not many options, but at least there is a few for you to choose. Language settings. So very, very bare bones, but yeah, so it's nice. You've got a search option. You can put in there, say you want Mario. Obviously it comes up, and then you can simply search for the game that you want and then choose OK to select it. there's probably going to be issues with that because a lot of the ROMs themselves are coming in numbers previously before the name, which causes problems. So you got your history, which are all the games that you've played. We have favorites, if you've added any favorites, and then we have the game selection. So when you click into the game, because I have 2 SD card slots, it gives you the option to choose which one. So I'm going to go with the first one. And then we have a list of all the systems: PS1, Vertical Arcade, CPS games, Nintendo games, FBA hack games, main games, GBA, NES, SNES, Master System, Mega Drive, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket, Game Gear, and also WonderSwan console. So not all the systems are there, but it only plays good up to PS1. So for pick up and play, this is absolutely ideal in my opinion. I think that the interface is basic and it's very easy to navigate, and it just shows you where all the games are. So if we click into PS1, you'll see that it does come with box art. You'll see a total of 7 pages, and this is the first page of 7. So it does come with quite a lot of games. It does come with the box art. You can, as long as the box art is the same as the name, you can do that with the SD card. It's very easy to do. So as you can see, it's really nice. Same with all the other handhelds. This one has 6 pages of one. CPS, this has 19 pages. Neo Geo has 16, so quite a lot, so 141 games. 4 pages, so 35 hacked games. Main games, only 8 pages, so 69 games. Game Boy Advance, a total of 101. So it comes in really, really nice, simple and basic layout, which is pretty cool. So if it is something that you don't like to tinker with, and you don't want to, and you don't know how to add your own ROMs, or you don't have ROM sets, then this is ideal. This is really, really perfect. So let's go through the systems and check out each of the games in stock version. I do believe the options are very limited, so let's check it out. So we're going to go with SD card slot 2, which won all the games that I've added. So let's see if I can find Bloody Roar 2.
Bloody Roar 2.
Hopefully that's coming across just how sharp the image is actually coming across. It looks really nice. Yeah, so the image is really nice. We've got great viewing angles, guys. Look at that. For a budget handheld, they haven't skimped on the screen, which is really, really important in my opinion. That looks tasty. So the D-pad's really nice, really responsive. And I'd say this is definitely playable, guys. So in the options itself, you do have the ability to swap out the displays. You can have a softer image, which is HD, which then obviously just makes the graphics more rounded. and blurs it out a little bit. We have scan lines. Let's check out some scan lines. We have like a dot matrix. So different effects, which is a nice touch. Scan lines look good, especially for arcade games. I think that'll look well. Dot matrix is more like a Game Boy Advance style. So let's put it back to fast, which is obviously a lot better, in my opinion. The best option to choose.
Round 1, fight.
So Tekken 3 is working really well, which you'd expect. It's not a hard one to run, really. I'd say it looks really nice and plays nice. Okay, let's check out another PlayStation game.
As you collect more trophies, other tracks will turn on and open to you.
I love the Miyoo Mini, even though it only plays up to PS1. But just having this bigger screen, oh, it's lovely. Let's get into the game. And I know we don't have the options to change anything, but I do think they're using the upscale, because it looks really good.
One for the road.
Again, you just simply press the menu and exit out. Let's check out some vertical arcades. Okay, so this will turn the unit itself into tate mode, as I got told off on previous video. Tape mode, tate. Okay, so it'll still be select. So you will be using the volume buttons at the top, which I think is a nice touch. Let's go with Marvel vs. Street Fighter. Let's check out how good the D-pad is.
Come on. Spider sense tingling.
Ready, fight!
Okay, so yeah, not too bad, guys. You can definitely get the moves out pretty easy. Let's go with one of the harder arcades to run, which is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. As you can see, it's running really nice. Controls are nice. One thing I did notice with this, guys, with the stock firmware, the controls for any racing games do not work. I'm not sure whether it's because they don't have a option to change these settings for the controls, but I think that automatically they're mapped to a analog stick, so any racing games you cannot use, like Outrun, Super Hang-On, Enduro Racer, even the likes of like Afterburner 2, just doesn't seem to work. So that is another thing that you have to consider, which is quite sad really. But I find that all fighting games and any beat 'em ups and stuff like that, they're fine. It's just anything to do with driving games, which is quite sad, really, if you ask me. I think Anbernic should have done it open source with it, really, and let custom firmware, because then it would release so much of the potential. Black Seraph has done a great job, but I do believe it still has its own hiccups. Okay, so let's move on to some other systems. I have no issues with Neo Geo. As you can see, it plays really well and looks absolutely fantastic as well. Really am impressed with the screen, because it's a cheap budget handheld. Let us know what you think so far, guys. I think it's absolutely spot on. Great pick up and play, really is ideal. The newcomers to Emulation and you just want to test it out and see what they think, this is perfect. Let's do some Game Boy Advance. Again, there's no way to change the orientation of the resolution, so you are stuck with a 4:3 aspect ratio for Game Boy Advance games. But it's not too bad in my opinion. Still looks great. If you're into Pokemon and all that jazz, then you'll be fine with all the Pokemon games. Golden Sun worked as well, for those who want to know if Golden Sun worked. Everything I've tested so far played really, really well. The brightness levels is really good as well. Right, to do that, you just hit the button and then it gives you options 5. It goes down to 1. So even at night time, it has a really, really nice level. You just want to play it in bed. But yeah, it looks really good. There's a good balance between the screen and the battery. The placement of your hands as well, which is also pretty good. Yeah, you'll have no problems with GBA, and they look great. Even the text looks good, even though it's 4x3. Very impressed. Okay, let's move on to something else. Let's go with some Mighty Final Fight. Let's go with the save function. Let's go to load. There we go. What a game this is. What's your favourite Donkey Kong game, guys? 1, 2 or 3? Mine's still the original. It still looks good. It looks absolutely gorgeous on here, in fact. Sega Master System games run really well as well and look fantastic. Alex the Kid and Shinobi World, one of my favourites. Again, the older systems looking really good. Let's go with some Mega Drive. Let's go with some Sonic. Has to be. Again, Genesis or Mega Drive, as they call it in the UK. Plays well, looks fantastic on here. The 4x3 aspect ratio doesn't seem to be fully stretched on Genesis or SNES. Not too sure why. But there is a little gap at the top and bottom, not by much, but how it looks and plays, it plays really well. So there's one problem with Game Boy itself, is the fact that you can't change the colorization of anything, unfortunately. So it does render it being black and white, which is a shame. But it still doesn't deter from playing some amazing Game Boy games on it. It just would be nice if you had the option to do so. change the colorization, but hey ho. Just love this game. Damn it, missed the battery. It's in first place though, come on. And we'll never know if he finished first. Okay, so yeah, not too bad. So I'm pretty impressed. Just the lack of options is quite sad. But as I say, for a pick up and play, the only thing, the downside I can see negative with this OS, the stock image that you get with this unit, is the Game Boy, and everything else works fine. Maybe the lack of systems, but there's certainly enough systems on there. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's 18 systems on there. So you've got the main ones, which is PlayStation. All the PlayStation works really well. Arcade that I've tested so far plays really well. As I say, the only downside that I'm seeing to this image is literally just the Game Boy. The colorization, but everything else plays really wonderful and looks fantastic. So I'm not really too sure whether you do need to upgrade to Garlic OS, but I will check it out and I will do another video. But I'd love to know your thoughts. My first impressions of this is fantastic. For the price point and for what you get and what it plays and the screen, the controls, even the quality of the unit itself, it's very robust. Do you need one if you have a 353V or, I don't think so. I don't think you would need one. But if you're just getting into handhelds and retro gaming, then it's a no-brainer. I'd definitely get one of these. And even if you have a Miyoo Mini and you just want to upgrade to a bigger screen but just have the same performance as the Miyoo Mini, because that's what you're happy with, then this is an upgrade, really, in my opinion. With a larger screen. Maybe you're not interested in PSP or Dreamcast, but if you are, then I'd say these are the best options that you have available, really. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, I will do another video on Garlic OS. If you want me to do a video of installing it and how to install it, then let me know in the comments. But as always, guys, a like would be truly appreciated. A share would be even better. Help me reach a wider audience. And as always, take care.